under 20 degrees right now, so we're letting people know what the laws are. That when it's under 20, dogs can't be kept outside.
When temperatures plunge, they spring into action, working to protect pets and educate owners so they don't break the law. And working to keep you safe as these firefighters brave the frigid water and temperatures to train for the worst possible scenario. The message they want all of us to hear.
It's actually the day on. We are still working, but we're doing it for the community.
Honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., not sitting back, but taking action and helping others.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Now at 5, Hoosiers bundled up against the bitter cold that started the day, and another chilly night is ahead. But in between, sunshine and temperatures that are starting to show some signs of warming up. Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is tracking what's ahead for you tonight. Kevin.
And the good news, Amanda, the coldest air is behind us now in the rear view mirror. That's not to say that it won't be cold again tonight, but just not as cold. Down to 10 this morning in Peru, 11 in Lafayette, temperature in Indy at 13 degrees. We've made a decent recovery. Sunshine helps, doesn't it? 26 in Lafayette, temperature in Indy at 27, below average for this time of year. 35 is our average high. The wind is light, so the wind chill temperature, when you factor in the temperature and the wind, not as big a factor, and in most cases tonight will be around 5 miles per hour, and the same for tomorrow. Through the evening hours, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures will be slow to fall, but they will fall back into the teens as we go past midnight, but still 10, 11 o'clock tonight, about 23 degrees. Let's talk about what's going to happen here next several days. These low temperatures tomorrow morning in the teens, but then you see what happens. We take some significant steps up by Thursday. Those are the low temperatures climbing. We'll talk about the high temperatures going up as well coming up.
It warmed up into the high 20s today, but the day started out much colder with temperatures where it's illegal to leave your dog outside in Marion County. And today, crews with Friends of Indianapolis Dogs Outside, or FIDO, work to make sure dogs are not left out in the cold. RTV6's Kelsey Anderson went along as they answered several calls to help dogs in need of shelter and warmth.
You can see here that these dogs do have a dog house with a cover and a floor. The problem here is today is that it is under 20 degrees and it's illegal for dogs to be outside for a long period of time. Darcy Kurtz is the founder of FIDO. She says now that temperatures are very low, they are receiving a lot of calls from concerned citizens about dogs being left outside for long periods of time. Today, we followed along as they checked on several animals and let the homeowners know about the laws in Indiana regarding animals outside. Kurtz says they don't want to take animals away from their owners, but make them a part of the family.
Our focus is really on improving the quality of life of outside dogs. And that becomes especially important in extreme weather when dogs are especially uncomfortable. Some treats,
we're going to give them a leash, get the dog inside.
Kurt says they offer things like leashes, collars, food, dog houses, and even spay and neuter services, all for free or at a very low cost. Working for you in Indianapolis, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
And all of the supplies FIDO hands out are solely from donations. If you are interested in helping out, we have a list of ways you can help on the RTV6 app. And while far from ideal for animals, the cold temperatures provided the right conditions for first responders to conduct ice rescue training. Members of the Wayne Township Fire Department ventured onto the ice and into the frigid water at their training grounds due to the mild winter we've had so far. This was the first day they've had ice thick enough for training. But the department spokesman said this is in no way an indication ponds are safe for you and me to be on.
In central Indiana, we very rarely ever have safe ice, and so we should just make it a practice never to go out there for any type of recreational purposes, whether children are attracted to this to go out and play on, or adults that feel like they can go out and do ice fishing. It's just not safe, and we just assume people stay off that ice.
Other words of safety: never go after a pet that's on the ice or has fallen through. Call 911 and don't try to rescue a person either. Pruitt says throw them something that will float, an extension cord, rope, anything they can hold on to until rescuers arrive. A day out of the office and off from school has become a day to serve in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. RTV6's Troy Washington takes a look at how the holiday has evolved over the years into a catalyst for change in communities.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, I'm
frigid temperatures were no match for volunteers determined to take a day off and turn it into a day serving in the community.
They came out, they didn't complain, they rolled up their sleeves, got their hands dirty.
In honor of the icon's legacy, volunteers grabbed gloves and got to work in their own communities. John Hawkins is with the Indiana Civil Rights Commission. He helped put together today's day of service for Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
It comes back full circle for me. Played on these basketball courts, out on those tennis courts. You know, I ran around Watkins grounds.
Now he's using those same hands to fix this chicken coop that belongs to Cleo's Bodega and Cafe.
It's a humbling experience. You're able to go out there and, put together the chicken coop where they get the eggs and work on the grounds, where it's going into the cafe and the grocery store.
Cleo's is the only grocery store in the area, and if it weren't for today's day of service, the coop might not have been completed for another 4 weeks.
It's all meaningful work, and it's all community driven.
At least 200 volunteers showed up to pick up trash and be the change they want to see in their city.
Not about just this one day, because he wasn't about just one day. So let's continue all through the year doing something for somebody else and giving of yourself.
Gregory Wilson says if change starts today, then consistency in the community can follow. And the only true way to honor Dr. King's legacy is to make serving a habit. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
And volunteers say this is a reminder to pitch in year-round. We found a bunch of local groups who could use your help other times of the year. Details right now on the RTV6 app. And the generosity of Hoosiers will be called upon again tomorrow. That's when the owners of Country Kitchen Soul Food Place and Radio 1 will team up to help the displaced employees following a fire that devastated the Northside restaurant. Country Kitchen at 18th and College caught on fire on January 11th. The owners say they want to make sure their employees are taken care of while they figure out the rebuilding plan. So they are teaming up with Radio 1 to host a day-long donation drive to raise money for the employees. It will be tomorrow from noon to 5 p.m. at the restaurant, 1831 North College Avenue. You can just drive by to make your cash donation. You can also make a donation at KeyBank. And tonight, Metro Police are investigating a shooting near a busy intersection on the west side that may be a case of road rage. Just after 1 o'clock, officers responded to reports of shots fired near the Taco Bell at 10th Street and Girls School Road. Officers found 2 people with gunshot wounds. It appears shots were fired at their vehicle.
It does appear that this may or may not have been sparked by some sort of a road rage incident. We don't know that exactly right now, but that's something that the detectives are here and trying to sort out.
Both people were taken to the hospital in good condition. Police say this appears to be an isolated incident and that everyone involved remained on the scene and are cooperating with detectives. Police recovered at least 1 gun. And 36-year-old man and his 4-year-old son were both shot in the head Sunday after a gun discharge while they were, quote, play wrestling in Monroe County. Deputies were called to a home in the 1200 block of East Zinnia Drive, south of Bloomington. They found 2 people with gunshot wounds to the head. Deputies said the man was play wrestling with his son while carrying a handgun concealed on his back. 1 shot was fired when the gun fell from the man's body and hit both people. The father is expected to recover. The child is at Riley Hospital for Children in critical condition. Now to a monumental moment in our nation's history. Tomorrow, the impeachment trial of President Trump begins in the Senate. On the eve of the trial, it seems the legal question for senators will be, is abuse of power an impeachable offense or not? ABC's Serena Marshall has the latest from Washington.
On the eve of the president's impeachment trial, the House managers in charge of prosecuting the case crossing the Capitol to check out the turf they'll be arguing their case on. Tight-lipped as the legal back and forth already underway. The president's team of 9 lawyers outlining the arguments they'll make at the trial in a 170-page legal brief, stating that the president did nothing wrong, did not commit a crime, and that even the Democrats' argument of abuse of power does not rise to an impeachable offense. And therefore, there's no valid reason for impeachment, something one of his lawyers argued over the weekend.
So your position that President Trump should not be impeached, even if all the evidence and arguments laid out by the House are accepted as fact?
That's right.
Democrats responding that a criminal offense is not required for impeaching and calling the president's defense a chilling assertion and dead wrong. The framers deliberately drafted a constitution that allows the Senate to remove a president who abuses their power to cheat in elections, betray our national security, and ignore checks and balances. And while the legal positions have been outlined, less than 24 hours to go, the format not quite clear. Democrats expected to be given 24 hours over 2 days to present their arguments. and are still demanding witnesses.
We will force votes on witnesses and documents, and it will be up to 4 Republicans to side with the Constitution.
Senate Republicans hope to postpone a decision about witnesses until after House managers present their case and the president responds. The president signaling his opposition to witnesses on Twitter, writing, "They didn't want John Bolton and others in the House. They were in too much of a rush. Now they want them all in the Senate. Not supposed to be that way." But Trump had blocked House Democrats' attempts to hear from administration officials, claiming immunity.
President Trump won't even be stateside as the trial ramps up. He leaves tonight for Davos, Switzerland, attending the World Economic Forum. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington. Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6. Are you still returning Christmas gifts? You might be out of luck if you made your purchases at one type of store. Well, you need to know so you don't waste your money. But first, we get to talk with one of the stars of a popular ABC show. He's got a tease for you about what's ahead on The Good Doctor, but more importantly, a life message for young people. Our conversation with Hill Harper.
And we're dry now. We'll stay that way in the short term, but within the week, or as we get toward the end of the week, a rain-snow mix potentially. We'll go through the possible scenarios here coming up.
Keller and Keller.
Welcome back. Today marks the 200th anniversary of Indiana University, and the university is celebrating with a day full of special events that also tie in with Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And one of the highlights is the keynote lecture delivered this afternoon by actress Viola Davis. Before her speech, she was given an honorary doctorate from IU President Dr. Michael McRobbie. Davis currently stars in the ABC program How to Get Away with Murder. But her influence is far and wide. She's an Academy Award-winning actress, producer, and philanthropist. She is one of a few black actors to win an Oscar, Emmy, and Tony Award. When IU announced last month she would be here today, McRobbie called her a forceful voice for women and women of color, challenging media stereotypes and championing the need for equal opportunities. And tonight on RTV6, another new episode of The Good Doctor following The Bachelor. The Good Doctor features Freddie Highmore as Dr. Sean Murphy, a brilliant doctor who has autism. RTV6's Rafael Sanchez had a chance to speak with co-star Hill Harper about the impact of the show and what's ahead.
That's one thing I truly love about the show is that it reinforces the idea that no matter who you are, no matter what you're dealing with, you can and do add value in whatever situation that may be. And obviously our lead character, Dr. Sean Murphy, exudes that every week, and you'll see it even more tonight on tonight's show. And it's just wonderful. The writing is great. And very proud of the messaging of the show, but also the entertainment value of the show. People really love it. Their hearts get open. You know, I hear from all the time people are crying and when they watch the show, which is great. I cry when I watch the show sometimes too. So it's pretty, and I know what's going to happen. So it's pretty special.
Your character and the character of Dr. Sean Murphy sometimes are not always in sync. Sometimes you guys are at odds. Will you be friendlier with each other as the season progresses, or do we need that tension to keep the show and to keep us on edge?
You know, one thing I love about the writing is that I never know what's going to happen. So literally, all of us as actors were there flipping through the script as soon as it comes out to see what we do. And so there certainly has been an evolution of my character. It started out very anti-Sean Murphy, evolved to the end of last season where I saved his job at the hospital, and now it's kind of moving towards more of a mentorship role, right? And so, but I don't know, you know, the writers may decide to fracture that because something happens. And that's what makes great storytelling great, because when you don't know as an audience, if the audience is ahead of you, then that's not good. And so I'm telling you, I'm on the show and I don't know what's going to happen. I'm reading the scripts like that. So you know, it's pretty exciting. I know for a fact, and this is a little tease, that as we push to the end of this season, something big does happen. There's a big catastrophic event that's pretty special. So you guys have to watch for that and lead into it.
We definitely will be watching. Hill, the last time you were in Indianapolis was last February. You spoke for the Stewart Speaker Series. You left that audience wanting more. You gave a message of empowerment. You are about empowerment. You do a lot of work with philanthropies and young people. As we begin this new year, your message to young people here in Indianapolis and across the country, could you share one with us?
You know, I'm sure. I'm actually coming back to Indiana in Indianapolis in the next couple weeks and in the area. And I'm excited because this year, this decade, this is a new decade, and it's about we are all active architects of our own life. I truly believe that we all are creating whatever life we want, but you have to approach your life, and this is what I tell young people, like an architect approaches building a structure. You got to blueprint it out. You got to have a plan, and the more detailed that plan can be, and know you can modify the plan, the more likelihood you're going to reach success. And so talking about having a plan and not just saying, I just hope something good happens to me, a lotto mentality, is something I've really been talking about with a lot of young people, and it seems to resonate.
Well, we appreciate your blueprint, one of being positive, one of being successful. We thank you and much success with the Good Doctor every Monday right here on ABC. Hill Harper, thank you so much for joining us.
Raphael, thanks so much. And thanks to everybody who watches The Good Doctor.
And you heard Hill mention that he will be back in Indiana. He's the keynote speaker Thursday for Ivy Tech Kokomo's annual Doing the Dream Community Banquet to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision of peace, service, and united. That event is sold out. You can watch The Good Doctor tonight at 10 here on RTV6. Kevin joins us now with a look at the forecast, and the sunshine was a nice little gift today for a Monday.
From the Good Doctor to good weather. The clouds have rolled back in, but we'll be back to some sunshine tomorrow. The coldest temperatures are behind us.
Oh, thank goodness.
For a little bit. The record low this morning, by the way, 22 below. We were nowhere near that, but it just shows you how cold it can get during the month of January. It's been about rain this month. You saw how that cold air was squeezing out every last drop of moisture. We had the snow showers and flurries for a good 24 to 36 hours as we made the transition Saturday to the much colder temperatures. We've had over 5 inches of rain this month. There is the current cloud cover, pretty obvious. As we look to the north, that'll keep temperatures from falling off too quickly. Let's possibly see a snowflake or two here. We'll drift to the north, a little more substantial snow shower activity in the northern portion of the state off of Lake Michigan from areas just north of Peru, north of Logansport. May have a couple of flurries this evening. Temperature is 24 in Tipton. Remember yesterday we were stuck in the teens, about 13 or 14 for 10 hours. Temperature didn't really change. Coolest in the eastern portion of the state where it's 21 in Richmond, 28 in Terre Haute. Say hello to Tara. Now this is the way to go out in cold weather. Notice the sweater, but also what she's got going on with her feet. It's so funny when you see some videos, sometimes when dogs put those on for the first time.
It's a little spider crawl.
Yeah, how they don't really
something like that.
Quite know how to handle it. Tara, you're looking good. Pat, thanks for sending in the picture. Temperatures in the 20s, maybe a flurry. That's really about it. You can send your dog's picture to me at kevin.gregory@WRTV.com. Temperatures start their climb. We'll continue. We'll get well into the 40s on Thursday, then back off a little bit as the next weather system comes in Friday and Saturday. Tomorrow, we're back to some sunshine. We'll make our move at the freezing mark, 32. That's a realistic goal. The wind will be light. Areas that probably miss the freezing mark will be north of Indy, about 34, Bloomington, Nashville, Columbus on south. Wednesday temperatures, we step it up a little bit more, should be in the upper 30s. Few more clouds around. We're staying dry. I want to mention what's going on Wednesday evening here in a second. You look at these temperatures in the 30s. I'll remind you as we get closer, clouds willing, we'll see the space station fly over. Should be a pretty good pass. It'll last for about 4 minutes and be well above the horizon. That's one of the keys. There are lots of passes, but sometimes they're just too low for us to really get a good view at, so I don't want to pass those on to you, but that'll be a good one. 7-day forecast temperatures as we get to Friday, cold enough for rain, snow mix. I think we may see some snow as we get to Thursday night into Friday morning. Back to rain, then maybe back to some snow. Friday night into Saturday, we're sitting on the fence there, as you can see, with temperatures upper 30s for highs.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Just had this idea in my head, and all I said is I think people would be more inclined to get shelter pets.
That's the message a 7-year-old boy shared with his Kentucky state lawmakers, how one small boy could make a big difference in the lives of pets that need a good home all across his state.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
A 7-year-old boy with a big heart to love for animals and wisdom beyond his years just might change Kentucky state law. Meet 7-year-old Ethan Branscombe. He spoke to state lawmakers last week in his home state of Kentucky, advocating to make any rescue animal in the state the pet of the state. His mom helped him write an email to their state representative, and House Bill 27 was born.
I hope that people will be more inclined to get the shelter pets and rescue pets if they're the state pet of Kentucky.
Ethan, being 7 years old and so smart and able to communicate his ideas, is an inspiration to a lot of us, and it kind of makes me feel like maybe we kind of need to listen to 7-year-olds a little more often sometimes.
Well, the bill passed unanimously in committee and now moves to the full House. Way to go, Ethan. And all new at 6 p.m., the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. still resonates more than 5 decades after his death. And you can see how he's still inspiring people just by looking at local neighborhoods. But first on the Now Indy, changes to ease parking concerns in one central Indiana community. And it all starts tomorrow. You're watching RTV6. We'll be right back with the Now Indy.